be right with you. This could take a while.
Hi, Internet. This is John and Julian from New Connections. What we're talking today is about the healing power of laughter.
We are? Okay. You first.
Yeah. So
What do we know?
What do we know? We know laughter is actually healing in the hospital. They say laughter actually reduces time in the hospital. We know that it can bring the tension, cut the tension in an argument just by, bringing up something where people just all of a sudden laugh and they realize that, hey, maybe the argument we were having wasn't that important anyway. And if we can laugh over, if there's something we both can laugh at, it's like that song Breakfast at Tiffany's. Hey, that's one thing we have in common. You know what I mean? Is if we both can laugh at this, that's something we have in common. And then how does laughter relate to, people's issues with relationships, whether it be either family, friends, significant other?
The alternative is to cry. You have tragedy and comedy, the two worldviews.
Yeah. Some people say comedy is tragedy plus time.
Yeah, people say all kinds of goofy things. Stick with what you say. My own suffering, my own codependence, my own goofy self-absorption. There was a moment when you go, this is actually hilarious. And when you discover I've been believing or acting as if certain things were true and they aren't, none of them are true.
Like, this is a serious issue. We must handle it seriously. There's no other way. The best way is to handle it seriously. It might not be true. Maybe a little levity would actually open up your mind enough where you can actually see the solution, common ground. And that's sometimes when I think an argument with people can all of a sudden laugh at the goofiness of like, geez, we're being a little too rigid on this.
I don't know. I just think humans are pretty funny.
Well, for sure.
And when they aren't being horrifying directly. But they're so I'm most familiar with codependence these days, so I look at that. And I've been working on step one, you admit you're powerless over others and that your life has become unmanageable.
And I love PMLity. PMLity is, as I consider, the reincarnation of the Buddha. But enough of that. She said, she made a twist on that. She said, you're powerless over yourself.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
But think about that. Think about how the wheel of awareness.
Have you ever tried to tell anyone that they're powerless over they don't buy it? But when it takes a pratfall.
No, yes. A pratfall, yes.
Before you go.
Yeah.
It is a kind of emotional, spiritual, intellectual pratfall.
Interesting.
That gets you into recovery.
Let's give an example.
Well, the example that's top of my mind is we all walk around with a foolish idea that we generally, I did, take to be true. That there was a way I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
At any given moment. And
obligation.
Or there's a way marriage is supposed to be, and this wasn't it.
Yeah.
And that whole kind of supposed to be is totally fraudulent and made up, and we all do it.
There's you told me the same. Suppose there's a lot like should be, and we should all over ourselves.
Yeah.
Stop shooting on yourself.
and once you get that, it's comically clear that you've been stepping on the banana.
And I think once you're able to laugh at yourself, instead of, because a lot of people look back at the things they've done and they have shame or they regret, instead of just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You know? But I was kind of a kid. Things you do when you're a kid. So many times people say to you, you're going to look back at this relationship, for example, and you're going to laugh. I know you're crying now, but years from now, you're
don't
going to
tell
look.
people that.
Maybe it can help some
That
people. I
doesn't
don't know. but it's true. But it's true. You look back and you're like, geez, wow. I didn't see the truth for what it is. Wow, that's kind of funny that I was so narrow-minded. I was so narrow-focused into the supposed to, the should, that I didn't see the wide-open plane of possibility in Dan Siegel's terminology of, hey, relationships, that's kind of an organism. You know, it's kind of you're going to let it grow. You got two people who are individuals themselves. They're going to create something new, completely new in the relationship of the two of them. That how can the world say it's, you know, it has to be a certain way? And, you know, obviously there's certain things you want to agree upon, like we're not going to kill each other. We're not going to, you know, we're not going to try to force anybody each other to do certain things. But to say that, like, give me an example of a supposed to,
Well,
you know, and how it led to a pratfall.
I mean, I'm supposed to be taller than I am. You know, that's just wacky. I'm supposed to be thinner than I am. I'm supposed to eat better food.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to work harder.
Yeah. Support the family.
Yeah, I'm supposed to earn more money than I do.
Yeah.
And there may be, maybe you have a contract with your wife, a spouse, a teacher, or something, to be a certain way,
Yeah.
but it's a dumb agreement
It's dumb
because there's no way it's totally made up. It's totally fictional. It's
I think
a
that's
social artifact.
yeah, that's hard. I think that's going to be a thing that people are going to have a hard time understanding.
Well, that's why, you know, that's the thing that in step one you admit you're powerless over others,
Yeah.
and then, well, it's really hard to stop it. That's when it starts to get funny.
It's like I admitted it. Or when does the change happen?
Yeah, well, it happens. It happens in little increments. It's delivered pretty rapidly. Often there's an immediate sense of relief. Wait a minute. Wow. And then, how many times have you heard the Serenity Prayer? And then suddenly the Serenity Prayer makes sense in a brand new way. Just the unmanageability of life. Is we're compulsive managers. We manage our weight, we manage our diet, we manage our finances, we manage our relationships, we manage our children, we manage our coworkers, we manage our bosses. And it's one of those collective delusions that I think we only participate in individually. We don't, as a group, we see how stupid it was, and other people quite readily. We know my boss looks stupid when he's trying to manage stuff. Can't be done. But we don't recognize how funny looking it is when we try to manage the unmanageable. Because we think we live as if, I think I can get it this time. My buddy Gail, it's a guy named Gail, so you know you're in trouble. He tells a story about himself of as a kid buying a parachute from the back of a comic book. Remember comic books? Remember when you could buy military surplus stuff? He ordered up a parachute, and then he went down with some friends to the railroad bridge with his parachute, and then he throws the parachute into the air and jumps off the railroad bridge. And of course, lands 20 feet later and goes poof in a cloud of dust. His friends are all laughing. He's going, I think I know what happened. And he does it again. So, because he thinks he can manage gravity.
Yeah.
He thinks he's got the trick to get that parachute full, and he does it again.
And as long as he's okay, right? As long as it's okay to laugh at him.
Well,
Right? You're like, oh, you okay? Oh, you okay?
Well, you
then you
go-
burst out laughing. That connects laughing.
yeah, it's sort of like, oh, there's always kind of a ritual sacrifice made in any little society.
Sacrifice. Is it ritual sacrifice in that regard? It seems like, okay, we want the person to go exploring possibilities, like so the potential of humanity. We want them to go be out there, the challengers, the people striving, explorers. But they're taking a risk, and we all want them to go do it. Good for
Well,
them.
that's why you have a little brother along. That's why Mikey eats the cereal first.
He likes it.
Yeah. Every caveman family.
It's pretty bad to use a little as a taste tester. Oh my god. Yeah.
You know it, but you recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the kind of thing. I'm not trying it. Let Mikey try it. Or,
Yeah, it feels bad. I wouldn't do that.
yeah, luckily there's always one kid. There's that one kid.
And the little kid, the
In
little
every
kid.
neighborhood.
Yeah, the little kid, he wants to join the big kids group, so he'll do the risky stuff.
Well, he'll just,
Yeah.
who's got no sense of danger or destruction. And he'll do anything.
I think laughter is also inherently childish. And I think it becomes easier and easier to laugh the younger and younger
We're
you
all
get. Think how I'm saying
inherently
that.
childish.
I'm saying that backwards. I'm saying it becomes harder and harder to laugh the older and older you get. Well, you can just become younger again.
That's
Kind of how to change your mind. That's kind of what we're doing here. We're hoping to present a little space in your mind for some change to happen, if you want it to happen. And that's we do Dan Siegel's Wheel of Awareness. That's kind of the nuts and bolts how it happens. Actually realizing that you have the architecture in your mind already for change to happen. You just kind of have to pull down the walls. No, not pull down the walls. It's a lot like in The Matrix when he says, don't try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, try to realize the truth. What truth? There is no spoon. There is no spoon? Yes, then you'll see. It's not the spoon that bends, but you yourself. Once you realize the walls you put up between you and others are inherently perforated, then you stop trying to plug all the holes in those walls with your fingers, and then they come through, and then you just
you get the metaphor master set on puree. You take the action, almost any action will work. You take the action of, I'm really suffering, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this coda thing I heard about.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you hear about it.
Yeah.
Someone will mention it to you, or someone will call you codependent.
Yeah.
And you'll be all pissed off, and so you're going to go to Coda to prove them wrong. Whoever it is, you walk in there and you recognize really quickly that just taking any action on your own behalf works a little bit. So you walk in the meeting and you can't tell why. You can't point at what it is, but something you feel immediately a little bit better
You do.
just because you've taken an action.
Now, I think people who
Showing
watch this
up.
video will feel a little bit better right now.